old are you?
Who you? Well, I'm 97 years old, and in 3 months I will be 98. Can you imagine that?
I can count to 100.
Good! I have only 2 years to go. Home. Wherever it is, it's always home. Oh, that's an interesting story. Way back when automobiles were new, Henry Ford, and he had his manufacturing just near here. He built Model T Fords, and they were tall and top-heavy. Well,
over easy corner. It's over too fast.
Easy. Well, they were inexpensive, and so many families bought them, and our family bought them. We lived on a hill. My mother learned how to drive, and early as she was driving, she took me and the neighbor out for some purpose. And coming back, going up the hill, she had to shift gear. And to go into second, you pushed your foot all the way to the floor. Well, she didn't get it all to the floor, and so the car slipped backwards. Well, the neighbor lady opened the door, and I scrambled down, and so did she, and the car kept going down. Now, I was a naughty girl. I was scolded so often for rushing through a door and not closing it. And I looked back, and the door was still open. And so I raced back to close the door, just as the car heaved up over what we call a culvert, a strip in the road where the water from a rain would flush off to the side. And so the car walked this way and over, just as I opened the door, closed the door. So I got caught under the car, and I had 27 stitches and a broken nose. That wasn't fun, no.
How old were you?
I was 6 years old.
Wow, you're 6. You're 6.
That's how old I am.
That is yours, how old you are.
Yep.
Could you imagine being trapped under a car and having to go to the hospital for 27 stitches?
You can
On
see
that little
them.
forehead.
You can see them.
You
They're
see her
from
stitches?
up here, right down across here. Can you see them?
No.
And in the summers, after, blood healed and so on, I had to have cocoa butter. Do you know cocoa butter? I love the smell of it. It's just wonderful. And I would have to come in from playing and have cocoa butter.
Oh,
And I didn't want it. And I was assured that this was going to keep the skin from attaching to my bone, which was very fortunate. My grandma Oxley from Boston came up because this was Vermont, and I was protesting having this. I never did like Grandma Oxley very well. She suddenly said to me, "You are an unappreciative girl. Here is this, your mother, looking after you and taking care of you like this, and other people would hire her to tutor them, and you're just unappreciative." I remember I slunk out of the room, the cottage where we were, and there was Dad was painting the cottage, and there was a sawhorse there, you know, what you can sit on, and I sort of punched myself over the sawhorse, and Dad kept right on painting. I never did like that woman. Still don't like that woman. He never looked at me. Favorite thing to do. I love to read and write. I do it all the time. I get way behind in things I should be doing.
What do you like to write about?
What do you like to write about?
Well, sometimes I write poems. Not often. What I usually am trying to do is, figure out why the country is behaving the way it is. I write, you know, thoughts disappear. You know, they don't stay with you. So I write in order to anchor them so that maybe I can take the next step, because this one doesn't vanish.
Why did you go to Japan?
Oh, for the adventure. And it was right, of course, after the war, and the servicemen over there couldn't get home fast enough. And they thought I was the dumbest thing that ever happened. They would love to come home. The mountain Fuji is on the mountain, hidden by clouds, so that when you see it, it's just a thrill to see it. Now, probably the snow cap is gone or nearly gone, but when I was there was about halfway down, there was this wonderful snow cap, and it was fascinating. At the foot of the snow, there were trees, and so it's kind of tree-footed. So I'll send you the poem on Fuji.
So in Japan, did you learn Japanese? Or
No, I'm a terrible one at languages, and I didn't even try. It was the one time in my life that I've had a good job and figured that the wisest thing to do was nothing, because I figured that the Japanese knew a lot better than I did how to correct their problems, and that if I kept out of the way, I'd be doing constructive things. But I had to keep the appearance that I was busy. I found myself a job with the military government, and I had on the desk where they planted me a pile of papers that were written sort of in English, and they were the disaster plans of Japanese prefectures. Prefectures like a state. So I went state by state slowly through them. There were 48 prefectures or something like that number, so it took a lot of time. And I wasn't bothering the Japanese at all. And I was reading, but I finally came to the end of it. And so, well, I'd better write a sort of composite of what they had written. So I did. And that, I think, got adjusted and became the national disaster plan for Japan. Well, I did a variety of things. I did teaching at one point. That was at Purdue. I did counseling of people. also that was at Purdue. At one point, when I was in New York, I wrote letters to cover advertising going out from Macmillan Publishing Company to get people to buy books, a variety of things. But I finally wound up doing community planning. And I started doing community planning.
So how did you become a Quaker?
Oh my. Well, I had some contacts with Quakers in New York. I started out a Congregationalist, which is now the United Church of Christ, they combined. But when I was in Japan, I had the opportunity of hearing the very first talk that was given by the English-speaking tutor to the present Emperor of Japan, Hirohito. She was a Quaker. She came from the school, what's its name in Washington, Sidwell School. She had been a teacher there. And the current emperor's father or uncle had studied there and had been very impressed by her. And so she became the tutor of the crown prince, who is now the emperor. And I was so impressed with her that I became. Immediately after I arrived in Chicago, I presented myself at 57th Street meeting, and a woman came to the door. They were already in silent service, and I said, I want to become a Quaker. I became a Quaker so fast. I didn't know anything about its history or anything else. It just took me on face value, and I became. I think I will tell you what I could regard as my motto.
Okay.
You see, I'm a very curious person, so that needs to be said first. Especially when I'm in a difficult situation. You want to sit in my lap?
No.
No, okay, that's all I do. This is my source of comfort. Let the hours be filled with wonder, that the days will be filled with joy. And wonder is curiosity.
Apparently there's a story about you organized a baseball game at a playground.
Ah, yes. When I was in college, it was hard times economically. Fortunately, our family had a steady income, but I wanted to have a job in the summer, and so in my freshman or sophomore year, my dad got me assigned to looking after the playground out in our baseball field, really corner of the baseball field. Well, I didn't have any background. I lived too far away to have gone there to play as I was growing up. But this was a job, and so, I was going to do my best. There was a little shack there, and that's where the swings were stored and the other equipment was stored. Well, I arrived the morning that it started, and the little shack was locked. But there was a sand pile, and there were a couple of girls there who were wanting to play. And so we started in the sand pile. and never have I scooped sand as much as I did then. And along come 3 or 4 kids who stood and looked at me down in the sand pile and said, we're not going to like you. And I said, why not? Well, you're not Cam. Well, now Cameron had studied professional athletics, and so he was a professional coach, and he knows such things, which I didn't. And so they were perfectly right. And I said, well, why can't you? Oh, I said, well, what's the matter with me? What can you do with Cam that you can't do with me? You can't play baseball. I said, the place is locked. We don't have anything to lock with, but if you had a ball and some bats and gloves, you could play ball. You mean it? Yes, sure. Well, off they went across the little iron, walking bridge across the brook to their homes, and back they came with all these things. And then they sorted themselves out into 2 teams and began to play. Immediately, it was clear that there was going to be a lot of wrangling, a lot of disputes over plays, and that they needed an umpire. Well, as I told you, I had not ever been out to Vale Field, so I didn't know anything about baseball.
Oh, that's sad.
I had to invent becoming an umpire instantly. So I concluded if they all objected, I was wrong. Whatever I said the decision was. And so then they would instruct me as to what I should have said. I said, fine, that's the way it is. If one team objected, I knew I was right. So I said, go on, I'm right. I never did. It was such a simple way.
What do you value most about our meeting?
Oh, that it is the meeting time, that it is a silent meeting. Because I've been in what we call popcorn meetings, and they're nothing but discussion groups. So that the fact that we retain silence is so valuable, so precious. Silence is hard for people to get used to. And my buddy Wink, she never did get used to it. We would go to the Cleveland meeting, and they had a rug in the room that had strips, I don't know what you'd call it, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Rag rug, yeah. And she would sit there at meetings, 1, 2, 3, 4, as far as she could see. 1, 2, 3, A, U, C, D. You have to learn to love silence. But we are very fortunate that ours is a silent meeting.
Can you tell us about the time that you were arrested?
Oh, yes. Well, that was at the time, that was in the 1960s, the Vietnam War period. And I and many other places were subjected. And I, on one other occasion, went to Washington, and protested in front of the White House. You can't do it anymore. They don't let you stand there on Pennsylvania Avenue. But back then we did. But on one occasion I went, let me see, I had made arrangements to go on Friday night and stay at a Quaker little hotel, and maybe it was called Quaker, and I was like, oh, wait. The next day, in the morning, we were told, you have a choice. You can go and stand on the steps of the Capitol, which was what we had been doing a number of times. I had not gone across, I never did go there. Or you can go to the Pentagon and, gee whiz, have a chance to protest in the Pentagon. No way am I going to miss that. So I remember as we were riding across into the area of the Pentagon, I thought, Rilma, what in the world are you doing this? Well, we were the Pentagon had been told that we were coming. And there were about 8 of us, I think. We had taken turns reading the list of dead American dead in Vietnam. And it happened that I saw that the arresting personnel were coming toward me as I was doing the reading. And I remember saying, and these are your sons or your cousins or your grandchildren. And it was in that context that we were arrested. So we were taken off and what was going to happen next. And then I had to tell you that I was very annoyed because they didn't believe us. They detained us and decided that we were honorable people and that we would return for a hearing, and that, no, they weren't going to arrest us. And so I never had that experience. But at least I was ready for it.